Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order. Can we start with a roll call, please?
Council President Perez. Councilmember Van.
Here.
Councilmember Benedetti.
Here.
Councilmember O'Halloran.
Here.
Councilmember McIrvin.
Here.
Councilmember Prince.
Here.
And Councilmember Corman.
Here.
Roll call, Mr. Mayor. One absent, but I believe she said she's going to log in a couple minutes late.
Okay, we can let her call this here. Okay, first up we have a public hearing. And who is our presenter? I had it a minute ago.
Brittany.
Brittany, that's right.
Go ahead, Brittany.
Okay, sharing my screen. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you to the City Council. For the record, my name is Brittany Gilia, and I am an assistant planner with the current planning team in CED. I have been assigned to work with the economic development team during the COVID-19 crisis, and my phone number is 425-430-7246, and my email address is billia@rentonwa.gov. Today, I'm going to be speaking about temporarily establishing an economic recovery right-of-way permit and temporarily allowing economic recovery signs. Emergency Ordinance 5974 was adopted on July 13th, 2020. And this allows brick and mortar businesses to expand onto city right-of-way or into private parking lots through an economic recovery right-of-way permit, as well as to introduce and allow economic recovery signs, which I'll cover in a later slide. Ordinance 5974 will sunset on December 31st, 2020. Economic recovery right-of-way use permits will be in effect until the city enters phase 4 of the Governor's Safe Start Plan, or December 31st, 2020, whichever occurs first. State law requires a public hearing for emergency ordinances to be held within 60 days of adoption. Ordinance 5974 cited the public health crisis resulting from the COVID-19 global pandemic, the significant negative economic effects on businesses due to following recommended public health best practices due to COVID-19, phased openings of restaurants and other businesses with reduced capacities that could benefit from conducting business in outdoor areas, including the city right-of-way, and the need for businesses to communicate reopening of or current offerings with customers via signage. For businesses that are interested in expanding their operations outdoors, they can apply for an economic recovery right-of-way use permit. This permit has simple requirements that are listed on the screen here, and I'm happy to walk businesses through the process. The application is free, and there is a nominal lease excise tax if the proposal is present in the public right-of-way or on city property. Generally, depending on the volume of requests, the permit application only takes a few days to be issued, and from there, the project will be installed and staff will visit the site to make sure that the outdoor seating looks appropriate. This is a slide showing some examples of the way that this permit could be utilized and placements for this temporary expansion. So on the left here, we see a example of occupying a street parking stall. There are clear boundaries noted. There is a clear pathway that leads into the business, and the tables in this area are 6 feet apart as appropriate by the Safe Start guidelines. In this middle image here, we see this orange highlighted space that a business could potentially expand to on the sidewalk. It is in front of the business that applied for this permit. It does not extend past their business storefront. The city is asking for 4 feet of walkway space to ensure appropriate access is achieved around this expansion. And a space like this could be used for a sidewalk sale, for a waiting queue for a business that might have a limited capacity, or even a coffee table or two. And the image on the right here, you can see It is a private parking lot that's being used for some outdoor dining. Again, there are clear boundaries in this example. There are some traffic cones blocking off the edge to separate the vehicular traffic from the restaurant goers. And then on this next slide here, we have just a few more examples to give the people a picture to put the example to. So on the left here, you see a sidewalk cafe in Seattle. The center image, this is a proposal from a Renton business in the downtown. So this is, you're actually looking down Main Street towards 2nd. The final space may not look like this. However, this is sort of a design that was a preliminary looking into the way that they could use the space. They are working on a design that will fit all of the requirements for the spatial distancing for the 4 feet of spacing and the boundaries necessary for their seating. And lastly, on the right here, you see an example from Parking Day in downtown Renton in 2016. This is a parklet that was placed on 3rd Street, and you can see that they're occupying some parking stalls. There are clear and visual boundaries on the edges of this, and a proposal like this could be acceptable for restaurants to expand their seating or for retail to be having a sale in the public right-of-way. I think the only update to this is that due to the current social distancing, I would make sure that there were less tables and chairs available in this space. And along with expanding outdoors, businesses are also welcome to have additional signage that explains their current offerings due to the COVID-19 pandemic. All economic recovery signage under this ordinance may be put up without a permit. And so businesses are allowed 1 economic recovery A-frame and any combination of temporary economic recovery event signage. To help mitigate the effects of COVID-19, the City of Renton is offering free open for business and open for pickup banners for Renton businesses that want to advertise their current business status. And businesses can contact Thrive at rentonwa.gov for more details on this. So just a few examples of some of the signs that are covered by this. On the right-hand side of the page, you can see here there are 2 styles of banners that the city is offering. On the top, it says open for business, and the image on the bottom says open for pickup, and you can see the little city logo there. Along with these 2 city-sponsored signs, businesses are allowed to purchase and create their own economic recovery signage. Some examples for this are on the left. The image on top is the example of an A-frame sign that are advertising special offerings such as curbside pickup only to adhere to social distancing. And below that, there is an image of a storefront with some balloons for a grand opening. And balloons are an approved type of temporary event signage. And so next steps tonight is to accept the public testimony regarding Ordinance 5974. If any businesses are interested, they are welcome to contact me at my email address, bgillia@rentonwa.gov, or through the Business Assistance Hotline, which is 206-502-1742. And through these 2 means of contacting me, they can schedule a 30-minute session where I'm happy to help them with their application process and walk them through any questions that they might have. And lastly, in conclusion, I'd like to point out the temporary nature of this emergency ordinance and to remind everyone that the expansions of businesses will be allowed until phase 4 or until the end date, which is December 31st, 2020, after which all of the expansions must be removed. And all signage will be allowed until December 31st, 2020, after which they must be removed. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Britt. Any questions from council? Okay, this is a public hearing. Do we have anyone signed up? Ms. Midzigian?
For the record, my name is Julia Midzigian. I'm the City Council Liaison. I have no one signed up in advance to speak to the public hearing. If there's someone in the audience through Zoom who would like to speak on the public hearing for economic recovery, revocable permits, and signs ordinance, please raise your hand. Okay, I see no one.
Okay, thank you. Jason, do we have any correspondence?
No correspondence, Mr. Mayor.
And Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
do we need a motion to close the public hearing? All right, I will so move.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Corman and seconded by Councilmember McGurven that the public meeting be closed. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, public meeting is closed. Next, we have the administrative report.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, has Council President Perez joined the meeting?
Yeah, she is sitting right there.
Do we know approximately what time she joined, sir?
I was right at the beginning of the public hearing.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
And so for the administrative report, I have 3 items. The first is King County is holding a free mask distribution event on Tuesday, August 11th from 1 to 5 p.m. at 900 Oakdale Avenue Southwest. This event is co-sponsored by Amazon, and each vehicle can receive up to 12 masks. Saturday, August 15th is National Track Trails Day. Cedar River Trail Park is the site of the first track trail in Washington State, a free self-guided hike that uses educational brochures for children and families. To celebrate, find Cedar River Trail Park on the Kids and Parks website, register your hike this weekend, or participate in a track trail e-adventure in your own backyard, neighborhood, or other park. Use the hashtags National Track Trails Day and Let's Go RTN to join the celebration. Remember to practice social distancing and wear your mask while you are out and about. Which brings us to the last point. Please limit the spread of COVID-19 while in parks and on trails. We are still in Safe Start Washington Phase 2, which means you are required to keep at least 6 feet of distance between each other, gather in groups of 5 people or less, use a face covering at all times, and maintain proper hand washing techniques. Your cooperation will keep people safe and our parks and trails open. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jason. Next up, we will open up the remote audience comment period. It remains the strong intent of the city to have public comment regularly included on our agendas. However, the city reserves the right to eliminate or end these public comment periods and or remove anyone from the meeting at any point if we deem the system as being abused or is no longer suitable for necessary business. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes to speak, called upon by Julie Medzigan, Council Liaison. Ms. Medzigan will call the speaker's name and unmute the appropriate microphone, which will send an automatic prompt to the speaker of, "You have been unmuted." This is the speaker's cue that it's their turn to speak. Please begin your comments by stating your name, city of residence, and the topic you are addressing. The speaker should be able to see a timer on the screen. Time is almost. Please wrap up your comments. Ms. Medzigan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For the record, my name is Julia Medzigian. I'm the City Council Liaison. I have no one signed up in advance to speak. For those signed into Zoom, if you would like to speak, please use your computer to raise your hand. If you have called on the telephone or through Zoom, you can raise your hand by pressing *9. Okay, Alicia Bush. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Alicia Bush. I'm a resident of Maple Valley and am an anti-racist activist and community organizer. A few months ago, we had a call in which we invited several members of the Renton City Council about a proposed proclamation to address systemic racism. And while I really appreciate sorry, let me take a step back. The call was extremely productive. It was a bipartisan call, and we had a lot of really committed community members in South King County areas, which included Kent, Renton, Maple Valley, Black Diamond, Enumclaw, Snoqualmie, Sammamish, and Issaquah. We had a lot of really engaged members of these communities and from those city entities. And so while I'm very grateful for the work that was done last week on the business plan, I'm disappointed in the lack of teeth that was put into it. There wasn't a lot of action. There wasn't I didn't see any accountability. And I was really disappointed that the proposed amendments to include language around the Black experience in Renton was dismissed and quite frankly met with a lot of hostility. So I would really encourage the city to go back and to establish and draft something that is more substantial, that requires action from the city, and holds city, all city members of the council and mayor and all entities that support the city, including law enforcement, accountable. What we are demanding now is not just small incremental change, because we've been doing this for centuries. We want to see sweeping systemic change that results in justice, accountability, and liberation. Thank you.
Okay, I see no one else with their hands raised. Mr. Mayor?
Okay.
Wait, I've got two more.
Oh, okay.
Nina Merchant? Go ahead.
Hi there. Thank you so much. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, to Council President Perez, and to the rest of the council members. This is Mina Merchant, and I've been a resident here in the Renton Highlands for about 10 years. I just wanted to publicly thank Councilmember Van and Councilmember Corman, who spoke out last week with regards to the anti-racism verbiage in our ordinance and business plan language. It's so very encouraging to me to hear them use that language around anti-racism, and I really do look forward to hearing more of this kind of language from all of our city elected officials. The next thing I wanted to quickly bring up was the OWL Project held a community meeting last week about the mural and found that Black members of our community were unanimously in favor of painting the words Black Lives Matter on a main road in Renton. We have also received a letter of support from the Arts Commission, and now we just need the Public Works Department to continue to work with us to identify a main road that will work for all involved. The community has recommended Rainier Avenue, Grady Way, or Logan Avenue, to name a few. Also, at last week's council meeting, I did hear the mayor indicate that the mural had already been voted on, and I was unaware of any such vote. I would love to hear in more detail about when that vote happened and what exactly was voted on. Just wanted to update you on the status of things, and thank you so much for your time and attention.
Thank you. Just for clarification, I didn't say that the mural or that the art project had been voted on. I actually said the art project had been referred to administration and then passed on to the Arts Commission. So, Ms. Mazigian.
Okay, I've got Priyanya Smith to talk. Go ahead.
Yes, good evening to the Honorable City Council and residents of Renton and Mr. Mayor. My name is Priyana Smith. Thank you for having me today. Today, I am making a demand, a declaration, and a statement. Black Lives Matter in Renton, Washington. I know that those of us who are Black and brown skinned anywhere are fearfully and wonderfully made. Yet there has been a very evident theme to try and lessen that simple fact of our shared humanity. As a member of this melanated populace, I demand my humanity be recognized. I am sorry for the ancestors and the children of our nation that this wound still has not been healed and is their legacy. However, another tide has come in. Will you, council members, come aboard this soul ride? Please take this opportunity to fight, to declare, and to state that you value me. Tell all of us how much Black Lives Matter to you boldly. To take the old saying, the writing is on the wall, and believe a wall mural will suffice, is a craven renunciation of this proclamation. We want the writing on the streets. The Black members of the community are taxpayers of these very streets, and this city will value our lives. Thank you for your time and your support for the street mural.
Okay, next I have Reverend Tony Booker. Reverend Booker, you'll have to unmute yourself.
Thank you so much. Hello, Honorable Mayor, City Council members, and residents of Renton. Again, my name is Reverend Tony Booker. I'm a social justice minister at Martin Luther King Church in the Renton Highlands. I live in Seattle, Washington. I too today am making a demand, a declaration, and a statement. Black lives matter in Renton, Washington. I know that those of us who are Black and brown skinned anywhere are fearfully and wonderfully made. Yet there has been a concerted attempt to usurp our movement and our cry by saying all lives matter. I want to believe that all lives matter, but based on what has happened to my forefathers, my foremothers, and those of us represented here today, the evidence is not there. As a member of the IPOC community, I demand my humanity be recognized. Recognition comes in many forms: changes in policies, laws, education, and the way we value one another. We can remind city residents with one small change of recognition by allowing the painting of a mural on a main street in Renton, boldly and rightly stating that Black lives matter. Please take this opportunity to fight, to declare, and to state that you value me. Tell all of us how much Black lives matter to you boldly. And I thank you for this opportunity to come before you.
Okay, next I have Laretha Todd. Go ahead.
Hi, Honorable Mayor and City Council members. My name is Larissa Todd, and I live in Renton. I've been here for about 20 years. I want to thank you for your time and this opportunity for me to share my thoughts regarding the Black Lives Matter mural. I'm here because I'm asking you to strongly consider the importance of valuing others in our community. It's evident in the news that this is not something to take lightly, as the lives of our Black residents are at stake. I can't imagine what mothers are going through that have already received the dreaded phone call that their child has been murdered. When I try to put myself in their shoes, I immediately remove myself, as the pain is unbearable. No mother should have to grieve that way, and no child should have their gift of life taken prematurely. Our name is an indication that Black lives do matter here in the city of Renton. Please consider making this reminder known to the public that Black lives matter by working together as a community to display a Black Lives Matter mural. I believe that painting the actual words Black Lives Matter is one way we can make this a reminder to the public. Unfortunately, a wall mural without those words does not have the same power of saying Black lives truly matter. Thank you.
Okay, next I have Kayla Root.
Hi, I hope I'm unmuted.
You are.
My name is Kayla Root. I am a resident of Black Diamond, previous resident of Renton for 5 years. I am also an educator of the Renton School District for the past 7 years and have attended church in the Renton Highlands for 30 years now. I stand as an ally to the Black community of Renton and in support of the Black Lives Matter mural on the road. As a white female, I now yield my time to the Black community. Thank you.
Okay, next I have Krista. Go ahead, Krista.
Thank you, Julia. Good evening, Mayor Pavoni, council members, President Perez. I'd I am also a Renton resident, and I'd like to take some time tonight to follow up on some previous comments, and first and foremost to express my complete support for our Black residents who have shared their insight on what is the best plan moving forward for the Black Lives mural here in Renton. I support and echo their sentiments that these words deserve to be bold and unquestioned and displayed on the road as they have stated. I also want to draw your attention to a comment that I made several weeks ago regarding the Renton Police Department and a complaint that parents have brought forth to council members through this forum here regarding Officer Clayton Davis, who has made visits to an elementary campus here in Renton without the consent and permission of families. Following that complaint, there was some communication between myself and the police chief, Van Bailey, via email, and also follow up with parents who made that complaint in collaboration. We were directed to a meeting where we thought the chief would be available for us to share our concerns via Zoom, and Deputy Chief Keys was there instead of Chief Van Bailey to listen to our concerns. During that meeting, we were told that the police department does not believe this is an issue and that the conversation is a moot point because students and officers aren't currently in buildings. Parents have expressed that we do believe it's a valid topic because this issue has already happened, and of course our students will be returning to the building. We were also told that nothing will change until a directive is given from a larger quote-unquote entity, and I would like the council's support in allowing a conversation to happen, as we believe that the police officers and yourselves are public servants who need to be accountable not only to entities like the school district, but to your very own residents and community members. So just to clarify, you do have residents who have asked for this conversation. The police department is declining to have the conversation, and we would like another opportunity to address the issue of police officers on campus without, especially in uniform and without parent consent. Finally, I'd like to draw your attention to an article that the South Seattle Emerald recently published featuring the lived experience of many of or several of our Black Renton residents here in our community. I think all of us have observed over the last several weeks some tension and some difference in the conversation about what the next best steps are forward as we explore racial justice in Renton. And to me, what I observe is a difference between diversity, equity, inclusion work and anti-racist work. I believe what you're hearing from community members now is a very clear call that we unabashedly embrace anti-racism. And when we do this, it's not necessarily about what is right and wrong within the confines of the structures as they exist, because we know that some of the structures are flawed. It's about the truth. And that's why I want to point you back to that article if you haven't already read it. I want to give gratitude and thanks to our giants in this community, Dr. Linda Smith, other people who have come before us and really done so much work on behalf of racial justice. But although there is a lot to celebrate, there is a lot of work that we need to do together right now. Work that goes beyond celebrating our differences, but actually dismantling the systems and the policies that divide us and keep some people oppressed and others thriving. In that article, you'll find testimonies of what's happening to your residents right now, lived experience, truth that we can use to base our decisions on moving forward. I also want to thank Council Members Van, Corman, and McIrvin, who have stated from the council that they support this type of conversation and have asked for have asked the leaders of the city to listen to community members, and I would appeal to the rest of the council to do the same. Thank you very much.
Okay, next I have Joseph Todd. Go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
So I just want to be brief. So I really want to thank Ryan McIrvin, Kim Vaughn, and Randy Corman for really standing up for community. When we had the discussions around the resolution, that's part of the business plan, you guys showed up for community. You guys showed up and showed who you are as council members. What I'm asking for is Angela Benedetti, Valerie O'Halloran, Ed Prince, and Ruth Perez. Please join these folks in making sure you listen to community when it comes to what we want and what we desire when it comes to Black lives. They showed us that they are engaged with us. They showed us that they love us as a community, and I really appreciate you stand up for us and utilizing the process in council to get our voices heard. So thank you very much, council members. Randy Corman, Ryan McIrvin, and Kim Vaughn.
Okay, next we have Tree Williams. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Tree Williams, and I am a resident of the Renton Highlands community. And I wanted to get on here and demand that we have Black Lives Matter displayed on a major street within Renton to show our support for Black and brown people and show that the fight isn't over, and to stand by Black people. And I do believe this will be beneficial for our community, and we can set the record straight and be a great example as another one of those cities in Washington that's truly trying to move forward and be progressive. So I demand that this mural be visible and represent us. Thank you, council, and that's all I got to say.
Okay, is there anyone who has not already addressed the council that would like to do so at this time? Please raise your hand. I see no one else, Mr. Mayor. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Zigian. Next up, we have the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Council President Perez.
I move that the council concur with the consent agenda as published.
I second. Okay, it's been moved by Council President Perez, seconded by Council Member Corman, that the council concur with the consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, motion carries. Next up, we have unfinished business. Council President Perez.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Councilmember Van.
No unfinished business.
Councilmember Benedetti.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Councilmember O'Halloran.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Councilmember McIrvin.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we have a couple of RAC appointments from the Transportation Committee.
Okay. Transportation Aviation Committee report, appointments to the Renton Airport Advisory Committee. The Transportation Aviation Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to confirm Mayor Pavone's appointments of Chuck Kegley, Airport at Large, alternate position, term expiring May 7th, 2023, and Charles Pepka, Washington State Pilots Association, alternate position, term expiring May 7th, 2023, to the Renton Airport Advisory Committee.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Councilmember McIrvin.
I'd like to move that the council concur in the Transportation Committee reports and confirm these two appointees to the Renton Airport Advisory Committee.
I second. Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember McIrvin, seconded by Councilmember Corman, that the appointments be, or the nominated be appointed. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Okay, thank you. Councilmember Prince.
Finance Committee always has work, Mr. Mayor.
Always.
Okay, I believe we have 5 Finance Committee reports. The first is approval of claims and payroll vouchers. Finance Committee approves the following payments. Accounts payable, total payment of $4,481,587.26 for a number of vouchers and payroll benefit withholding vouchers. And then 2, payroll, total payment of $1,393,853.66 for payroll vouchers, including 583 direct deposits. This is the July 1st through July 15th pay period.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Prince.
I move council concur with the Finance Committee report.
Second.
It's been, the council concur with the, it's been, geez, I'm losing my mind for a minute here.
Moved and seconded.
Prince. Sorry. Moved by Councilmember Prince, seconded by Councilmember Van, that the council concur with the Finance Committee report. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, I guess I better quit thinking about Hawaii or something.
The next report is regarding a FEMA grant agreement. The Finance Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to 1, approve the grant agreement authorizing reimbursement from FEMA and/or the state of Washington for damages that occurred during a presidentially declared flooding disaster in February of 2020, and 2, authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute the Washington State Military Department Public Assistance Grant Agreement D20-2010.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Prince.
In the words of the great John Person, the Finance Committee always likes it when we get money. So I move that the council concur with the Finance Committee report.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Prince, seconded by Councilmember Van, that the council concur with the Finance Committee report. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, motion carries.
Okay, the next committee report is regarding a Sunset Neighborhood Center Capital Grant Agreement. The Finance Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to 1, approve the Sunset Neighborhood Center Capital Grant Agreement with the Renton Housing Authority for a $400,000 grant to help renovate the former Renton Highlands Library for the Sunset Neighborhood Center, and 2, authorize the mayor to execute said agreement in substantially the same form.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Prince.
Yes, this is going to be a huge benefit to our Highlands community. We talked about it, I want to say, sometime last year originally. So with that, I move that council concur with the Finance Committee report.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Prince, seconded by Councilmember Van, that the council concur with the Finance Committee report. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
All right, the next report is regarding a reclassification for a public works position. The Finance Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to authorize the reclassification of a 1.0 FTE traffic maintenance worker 2, pay grade A12, to a 1.0 senior maintenance worker FTE, pay grade A15. Staff will continue to work through the recruitment process with the Human Resources Department and consult with the ASME Union 2170 on the job description and proposed pay grade. The fiscal impact for the reclass for 2020 is approximately $558.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Prince.
Yes, I move that council concur with the Finance Committee report.
And I second that.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Prince, seconded by Councilmember Van, that the council concur with the Finance Committee report. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay.
All right, the final Finance Committee report is regarding a capital improvements agreement with King County Metro. The Finance Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute the capital improvements agreement with the King County Metro Transit Department in an amount not to exceed $1.5 million for design services that support access to transit services and facilities located in Renton.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Prince.
I move that council concur with the Finance Committee report.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Prince, seconded by Councilmember Van, that the council concur with the Finance Committee report. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Corman.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have a Planning and Development Committee report to present.
Okay, Mr. Corman, I have two reports. One is regarding docket 15, and one is regarding the flood insurance rate maps.
Okay, I apologize. I think the agenda got updated and I've got the old version.
Okay, so.
Why don't you start with the flood maps?
Okay. This one is regarding 2020 flood insurance rate maps, adoption and revisions to Title IV. The Planning and Development Committee concurs with the Staff and Planning Commission recommendation to adopt new countywide flood insurance study, FIS, and flood insurance rate maps, FIRM, that will become effective for all communities in King County on August 19, 2020. The committee also concurs with staff and the Planning Commission recommendation to adopt revisions to Renton Municipal Code Title IV, Chapter 3, Critical Areas Regulations, and Chapter 11, Definitions, in order to implement the map revisions and to be consistent with federal requirements. The committee further recommends that the ordinance regarding this matter be presented for first and advanced to second reading.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilmember Corman.
I move, well, first of all, I'd just like to make a statement. We're, with this work, we are basically aligning details of our flood management plan with the national standards to enable those people that are in potential flood areas to get insurance in a timely way. And so we took some extra time, and with a couple of weeks off, we ran it through the Planning Commission. So we've kind of got ourselves to where we need to do first and second tonight in order to give ourselves time for everybody to get their insurance. But it's been coordinated with all the with people that are affected. We've had open houses and things like that to get the word out. So with that, I would move approval of the Planning and Development Committee report.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Corman, seconded by Councilmember McGurven, that the council concur with the Planning and Development Committee report. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Okay.
And then I do have a second report to present.
Oh, you do, that's right.
Yeah, from tonight, yeah.
So the second report is regarding the 2020 Title IV docket number 15, which is Group A. The Planning and Development Committee concurs with the Staff and Planning Commission recommendation to adopt amendments as outlined by docket item 173, waive fees. The Planning and Development Committee further recommend that an ordinance for docket number 173 be prepared and presented for first reading when it's complete.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilmember Corman.
Yeah, I move the council concur in the committee report.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Corman, seconded by Councilmember McGurven, that the council concur with the Planning and Development Committee report. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Okay, we are on to legislation. We have one ordinance for first and second reading tonight.
Yes, this is regarding what Mr. Corman was speaking to earlier about the flood rate maps. An ordinance of the City of Renton, Washington, adopting the new countywide flood insurance study, FIS, and flood insurance rate maps, FIRM, adopting Appendix A, standards for shallow flooding areas, AO zones, revising flood hazard regulations by amending subsections 4-3050 D3, 43050 G4C1, 43050 G4C6, 43050 G4D, 43050 G4E, and 43050J of the Renton Municipal Code, amending and adding new definitions in sections 41110, 20, 60, 80, 130, 180, and 190 of the Renton Municipal Code, providing for severability and establishing an effective date.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilmember Corman.
I move this ordinance be placed on second final reading tonight.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Corman, seconded by Councilmember McGurven, that this ordinance be advanced to second and final reading tonight. Any communication or? Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Okay, I'm going to read it again. An ordinance of the City of Renton, Washington, adopting the new countywide flood insurance study, FIS, and flood insurance rate maps, FIRM, adopting Appendix A, standards for shallow flooding areas, AO zones, revising flood hazard regulations by amending subsections 4350D3, 4350G4C1, 4350G4C6, 4350G4D, 4350G4E, and 4350J of the Renton Municipal Code, amending and adding new definitions in sections 41110, 20, 60, 80, 130, 180, and 190 of the Renton Municipal Code, providing for severability and establishing an effective date.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Corman.
I move that council adopt the ordinance as read.
Second.
Been moved by Councilmember Corman, seconded by Councilmember McGurven, that the council adopt the ordinance as read. This requires a roll call.
Okay, Council President Perez.
Aye.
Councilmember Van.
Aye.
Councilmember Benedetti.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Halloran.
Aye.
Councilmember McGurven.
Aye.
Councilmember Prince.
Aye.
And Councilmember Corman.
Aye.
Roll call, Mr. Mayor, all ayes.
Okay, thank you. We are on to new business. Council President Perez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On Monday, August 17, 2020 at 5 p.m., we will have the Committee of the Whole via video conference. We have 2 items on the agenda, 200 Mill Avenue update and capital budget presentation. Also at 7 o'clock on August 17, 2020, we will have our city council meeting via video conference. As a point of personal privilege, I want to clarify that I'm very sorry that I missed the committee of the whole today, and especially such an important one. We're joined by our Mayor Inclusion Task Force, but right at 4:30, my husband told me that he thought that he had a kidney stone and I had to take him to the urgent care. So he was a very, very excruciating pain, but everything is okay. And I'm very sorry that I missed that meeting. I really want to appreciate once again all the work that our Mayor Inclusion Task Force does. I know that 4 council members, current council members, were commissioners, and yes, the Councilmember Benedetti and Councilmember Prince were in Planning Commission. Councilmember Ray McKibben was in Human Services Advisory Board. If I'm not mistaken, Councilmember O'Halloran was in the Municipal Art Commission. So our own council members know firsthand that we are nothing without our volunteers at the time that these people put on behalf of our city and the greater good for our community. So I'm very sorry that I missed that meeting, but of course, all of you that have worked with me for a long time, you know that I was in the waiting room, of course, listening to the meeting. So you all did a great job, and thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, for the time.
Council President Perez, can I clarify?
Yes.
I believe August 17th, the meetings are canceled, and it's August 24th that we're meeting next.
I'm sorry. You are absolutely right. So I'm sorry. I'm announcing that on August 17th, the meeting there will be no meetings. And on August 24th at 5 o'clock will be the Committee of the Whole. And on August 24th at 7 o'clock will be the City Council via video conference. Thank you very much, Jason.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Van.
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Councilmember Benedetti.
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Councilmember O'Halloran.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. On Monday, August 24th at 3 p.m., the Utilities Committee will be meeting via video conference. Agenda items are ExtendNet Systems Franchise Agreement and Kennydale Lakeline Sewer Project Agreement. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember McGurven.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have no new business to announce this evening.
Okay, Councilmember Prince.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, on Monday, August 24th at 3:45 p.m., the Finance Committee will be meeting by video conference. We have 4 items on the agenda. Utility Billing Adjustments KABA Investments, Utility Billing Adjustments TMJD Inc., Utility Billing Adjustments Pine, and vouchers. And that is all, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Corman.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. I just I'd like to announce a Planning and Development Committee meeting for August 24th. That's a Monday. It's going to be, it's 4:30 p.m. It's a video conference. Just one item on the agenda, emerging issues in CED. And that's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Councilmember Corman, can I interrupt just for a minute? I needed to add docket 15 and comprehensive plan amendments to that.
Oh, okay. So carry over from tonight, probably.
Correct.
Yes. Okay. So so we've got 3 items on the agenda then, or was that 2 items, Julia, or 1 item?
No, 3. It'll be 3 now with
Okay.
the emerging issues.
3 items on the agenda. Emerging issues in CED. The second item was, remind me again.
Docket 15 and comprehensive plan amendments.
Docket 15 and comprehensive plan amendments. That's a good idea. I should ask, will that be enough time? Maybe. We'll try and make it work. We've got a half hour. We'll try and make that work. Unless, yeah. May I ask, as Chair Perez with Committee of the Whole, and maybe Julia, do we need a full 2 hours for the Committee of the Whole?
We probably only need an hour and a half for that.
Yeah. Councilmember Perez, would it be okay to start at even 5:15 would probably give us enough time for planning and development?
That would be fine.
Okay, I think if we made it 5:15, we'd have plenty of time.
Okay, so we'll start planning and development at 4:30 and committee of the whole at 5:15.
Yeah, if that's not too problematic, yeah. Sorry that I didn't catch that before. We can write out a planning and development though, and yeah, it makes sense.
Okay. Any other changes?
That's work on the fly right there.
That is work on the fly. The voice coming in from the outside telling us what to do. Okay, what's the wish of the council?
Could we adjourn?
Second.
Been moved by Councilmember Prince, seconded by Councilmember Corman, that we adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We are adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr.